ABM Performance Solutions is designed to optimize every aspect of performance for your organization. Its customizable suite of integrated facility services generates impactful cost efficiencies across the entire life cycle of your facility. From electrical, mechanical, janitorial, engineering, landscape, parking, or electrification, ABM Performance Solutions means one contract, one invoice, one point of contact, and one source of accountability for all your facility services. Streamlined, simplified solutions. With ABM, it's possible. Now back to the episode.
Hello, and welcome to the Facility Resilience Podcast, The Future of Facilities, Insights from ABM Performance Solutions, proudly presented by ABM. I'm your host, Michelle Henderson, and today we're talking about how integrated facility services are helping organizations streamline operations, cut costs, and meet sustainability goals. Joining me is Eugenio Burnier, Senior Vice President of ABM Performance Solutions. Eugenio, welcome.
Thanks, Michelle. It's really great to be here. I'm excited to talk about the future of facilities and what we have to offer at ABM.
Great. So let's start at a high level. Can you speak to some of the major trends that are driving the facility services market?
Sure. So I think, it's been over I'd say the past 5 years, there's been a significant shift in the way the industry approaches facility services, with more importance given to operational efficiency, sustainability, and resiliency. So operations today are looking for ways to streamline operations to reduce costs and enhance the facility performance across the board.
So how are companies reacting to these shifts in practice?
Yeah, so I think companies are moving from traditional in-house facility management, where they have a in-house facilities team, to outsourcing services to service providers like ABM. So the big benefit outsourcing really helps companies tap into specialized expertise to scale with more flexibility and focus on their core business while leaving facility operations to experts who live and breathe it every day like ABM does.
That makes sense, especially with everything that businesses have to juggle today. What do you think is the number one benefit that clients appreciate the most?
Yes, I think I used this word before, but and I love this word. It's focus, right? So focus is really important. So we take care of the facility so our clients can focus on what they do best, whether it's educating students, manufacturing the next medical changing drug, or developing the next big tech product. They shouldn't have to worry about things like HVAC failures and janitorial issues or electrical resiliency.
Are there any industries or types of facilities where outsourcing has been especially impactful?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I mentioned it with the kind of the examples on the last question is, higher education, manufacturing, and tech campuses, they've really leaned into the integrated outsourcing models. So these environments can be complex and operate around the clock, sometimes 24/7. So the need for consistency, reliability, and the tech depth is really high. So outsourcing gives them access to that specialized capabilities and scalable support.
That's great. That's really great. So now let's dig into ABM Performance Solutions, or as you call it, APS. How is that different from traditional models?
Yeah, so we purposely called it APS, ABM Performance Solutions, because we really feel it's different than your traditional integrated facility services or integrated facility management. So it's really our next generation approach to integrated facility services. It's outcomes driven and built around the idea of consolidation and customization. So we bring together hard services like HVAC and electrical, soft services like janitorial and grounds, and then specialized solutions like energy management and automation, all under a singular contract. The really important one for us that we really strive on is that most of the team members that are working on these projects are ABM employees. Sometimes we're self-performing 90%. So that really kind of helps us to direct control over performance, quality, and safety. We're not just managing vendors, we're actively delivering the services. So one thing I always like to say is that every team member owns its 10-foot radius. So if an employee sees something that's even outside their immediate job, they flag it and they help get it fixed. That way, the small problems don't become big ones. It's a mindset that really drives accountability and ownership.
Eugenio, I really like that 10-foot radius idea. It seems to emphasize teamwork and attention to detail.
Yeah, exactly. And it really creates a culture where everyone is invested in the overall facility experience. That's really important for us, the facility experience, because it's not only our clients, but our clients' clients that are really looking at that experience. We also design each APS contract to align with our client's specific strategic goals, whether that's reducing operating costs, boosting uptime, or hitting ESG targets. We measure performance through KPIs and client dashboards, so everything is transparent and trackable. This is a really important one for our clients that they want to see the transparency, that they see what we see at the real time.
Okay, so can you share with me a quick story or an example where APS made a noticeable difference for a client early on?
Sure. So one that stands out for me is a corporate campus that's over 1 million square feet. Kind of we implemented a full kind of APS strategy, and within the first 12 months, we cut reactive maintenance work orders in half, and we reduced energy usage by over 20%. The client told us they'd never seen that level of integration and accountability before.
I imagine that is impressive. So I've noticed that you've mentioned technology a few times. Let's get into that. How do you see tech transforming facilities management?
Yeah, I really like talking about tech. Technology is a critical enabler for everything that we do. So what we start with is an ABM Performance Solutions tech stack, which includes things like predictive analytics, IoT sensors, smart building platforms, and at its core, the CMMS system that really manages work orders and the asset life cycles. But we just don't install tech for the sake of it. We use it to drive decisions and to optimize outcomes. I love the word outcomes because that's what we're really looking to drive for our clients. So one example is that a major client, we deployed sensor-based monitoring across their mechanical systems, and within a few months, unplanned downtime was down 40%, and energy usage dropped 25%, all while improving indoor air quality and occupant comfort. That's the kind of results that really gets people's attention.
Wow, I can imagine. It got my attention for sure. So, all that being said, how do you help facility teams adapt to new technologies without overwhelming them?
So what we do is we pair each deployment with onboarding, training, and support. Our tools are really intuitive and they're designed with the end user in mind, whether that's our ABM team members as well as our clients. And the goal is simplicity, not to add complexity.
I agree. We all want to simplify things. So, in your opinion, are there any emerging technologies that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trends, but I think the big thing that we're trying to drive is, there's a lot of AI driven maintenance, really important. I talked a little bit more about things like predictive maintenance, digital twins, the way we look at facilities, autonomous cleaning systems are all advancing really fast. We even have deployed things like autonomous landscaping, which is really exciting. So we're helping facilities become more resilient, efficient, and predictive.
Okay, so speaking of resiliency, and as you know, with staffing shortages everywhere, how is ABM navigating the workforce challenge?
Yeah, I think this is the toughest challenge out there. So our approach is kind of threefold. So first, as I mentioned before, we self-perform most of our services. So what that means is that we directly hire, train, and manage the workforce. That gives us control over availability and quality. I think the second one is that we have a vast national talent acquisition and technical training engine. So we recruit, onboard, and develop frontline workers for long-term success. And third, we supplement our teams with tech. I talked about tech before. So using things like scheduling optimization, predictive analytics, and automation to do more with fewer resources.
Okay, so with fewer resources and a tough labor market, how do you keep frontline employees engaged and motivated?
Yeah, I'm going to use the word that I really like to use, which is focus, right? So we focus on culture, we focus on purpose, and we focus on recognition. When people know their work matters and they feel supported, they stay and grow with us. We offer certifications and access to advanced training for building systems, sustainability, and safety. We want people to see a career path at ABM, not just a job.
For sure. Eugenio, you mentioned sustainability as one of the key market drivers. What what is APS doing around energy and sustainability?
So sustainability is built into APS. We start with things like energy audits and asset condition assessments. Then we identify retrofit opportunities to reduce energy consumption and operating costs. So things from HVAC upgrades to lighting and controls retrofits. We help clients implement what I call high impact solutions. We've delivered guaranteed energy savings of like 20 to 30% and sometimes even higher. So for just to use an example, we helped one client save over $2 million per year through what we call infrastructure improvements. And it doesn't stop there. We also help our clients track ESG performance, support LEED certification, and deploy things like EV charging and waste diversion programs.
So if budgets are tight, how are you helping clients prioritize sustainability initiatives?
So, I think what we really focus on is projects with really strong ROI, so return on investment. And we help our clients identify things like incentives and rebates, so it's not actually hitting their capital. We also take a life cycle view, so the cheapest option today isn't always the best investment long term.
So if somebody's considering integrated services for the first time, what's one misconception that you often need to clear up?
So I would say the one misconception that we work through is really that it's not a one size fits all model. APS is kind of the opposite. So we customize every engagement with our clients' needs, whether it's a single site or a national portfolio.
So with so many combined services, then how do you ensure quality and consistency?
So I think the way we look at this is that we really have a standardized operating procedures, audit protocols, and a centralized APS support team for things like safety, technology, vendor management, and more. Our daily management system and client dashboards, they allow us to track performance and make adjustments in real time.
Okay, Eugenio, you obviously have a lot of moving parts going on. So how do you keep a clear line of communication between all the services on site?
Yeah, one big thing for us is that we really have a dedicated kind of ABM account director that's dedicated to each account. So that allows us to do things like daily huddles, that kind of clear reporting lines, and embedded site leaders ensure alignment. So everyone knows their role and how they contribute to the bigger picture.
So if a facility leader is considering working with ABM, what's your elevator pitch? Why APS?
Yeah, so I think I touched on a lot about why we feel APS is different than the traditional model, but I think the APS delivers kind of four key advantages. The first one is simple, it's cost efficiency by streamlining services and eliminating that middleman because we self-perform all the work. So there's no markup on markup. We're not vendor managing, we're self-performing the work. I think the second one is, and I talked a little bit about this, is that customized solution, right? So we have a customized tailored solution for each facility. The third one I would say is accountability. So accountability through measurable KPIs, and I talked about the transparency with our clients. And the fourth one, it's simplicity. It's one partner, one invoice, one integrated solution. So we really feel that we're a strategic partner, not just a vendor to our clients. And I think that they build that resilient operation that aligns with their strategic goals.
That one accountable partner idea feels like a game changer for facility leaders who are juggling a million vendors.
Yeah, exactly. So, when you simplify and integrate, you gain control, clarity, and results, which is what our clients are looking for.
For sure. Eugenio, I really appreciate you joining us and sharing your insights with us today.
Thanks again, Michelle. It was really fun, and I hope people learned something new.
I'm sure they did. I know I did. And for anybody who wants to learn more about ABM Performance Solutions, visit abm.com or email webinars@abm.com. And thanks to everyone for tuning into the Facility Resilience Podcast presented by ABM. We'll see you next time.